Hello everyone, Mike Wall here, project lead for the Chicago and Northwestern 1385 with Mid-Continent Railway Museum. Today we're doing a little different setting. No work clothes, no high vis, no locomotive, just a little bit of a reflection on 2025 here as we round out the year. In 2025, it's been a huge year for the Chicago and Northwestern 1385. We started the year working with Spec Machine and various contractors to get the locomotive ready to ship. We looked at our timeline and knew we had several things we needed to do when the locomotive arrived back at Mid-Continent and set a date for the locomotive to move. That date was in July, middle of July this year. We moved the locomotive back to North Freedom and had a welcome home ceremony that was a great success for us, having hundreds of people show up at the museum to see the locomotive arrive. So it was a great adventure for us on the first half of 2025. After the locomotive arrived back at the museum, work started immediately on the things we needed to do at Mid-Continent. That was done between a variety of volunteers and contractors, and work has progressed steadily over the last several months, fulfilling a lot of different assembly items we had to assemble, and also by getting our FRA inspections done, with the highlight of the year being here in early December, where we did our test fire, tested our appliances, and did the first official grade crossing that we've presented videos on here recently. So as we reflect on the year, one of the questions we get asked when people visit, when I talk to them and others talk to them, is why do you guys do this? Why do people volunteer and to bring this locomotive back to life? And I think there's several reasons, but I'll tell you a couple of them that it isn't. And it isn't for the fame or the fortune. In the day of TikToks and everything else, our biggest viewing on a video is the locomotive coming home, going over the Wisconsin River Bridge that Jeff Lenz took. And that has seen about 500,000 views. Not even close to what a TikTok would. And most of our weekly videos see between 10,000 and 50,000, and we're really happy with those numbers, but definitely not going to put us in that famous category with our videos. And the other one is fortune. And our people are all volunteers, all except a couple office staff here at Mid-Continent. Everyone else is volunteers. And from a fortune standpoint, it costs them to come and volunteer. They donate their time, they have their travel costs, they have their meals, and if they spend multiple days, because we have people who travel from all over the United States, they have lodging costs on top of it. So the people come forth and help us not for the fame or the fortune. It's for the love of the equipment and what it means to people. And I'll start with the love for the equipment, because the group of people that come together to do this come from all different walks of life. We have anywhere from doctors to people who work on the railroad, to people who own businesses, to firefighters. I mean, it's just a vast group, but they all have one thing in common, and that's the passion for the equipment. And they come and they work together and they learn. And it's great to see that. This last weekend, we had a group in the shop, and 3 of the 8 people we had in the shop were under the age of 30 working on the locomotive. And it just really says what we're doing at Mid-Continent is doing the right thing to attract our youth, to get them involved so we can continue to pass this on for generations to come. The next thing that we do it for is to be able to share the history, right? We all have a passion. Many of us who are there have a passion for history, and we're able to share that passion for history by restoring these pieces of equipment. But not only restoring them, bringing them to life. Once you fire up a steam locomotive, it comes to life. And you can see that when people are there, they're fascinated. And one of the things that I will always remember, one of my favorite photos of this locomotive, and things I love to remember, is a photo of Tom O'Brien. Tom O'Brien is a member who has passed away, but was very, very involved with the locomotive in the 80s and 90s when it was out on the main line. And Tom, this picture with Tom is with a school group when they were out on the main line, and he is standing there pointing out parts of the locomotive, talking about a steam locomotive with a group of kids. And if you look at the expression on these kids' face, they're all tuned in to what's going on, intent with what Tom's talking about. And he's talking about a steam locomotive. And you see that same enthusiasm, that same intent grow, really involved and want to understand when we have people in the shop. And it's just a great thing to see that come to life when people see a steam locomotive. All of this work requires many different things, but one of those is donations. And we have been extremely fortunate through this process to have great donors supporting us. As the locomotive was coming back this year, we had donors step forward and help us with the cost of the moves, which was around $80,000. And then when we got it back, we looked at what was done, what needed to be completed yet, and we have estimated that at about $300,000. Right before Christmas, we got a great Christmas gift of a $25,000 donation, taking us to about 14% of that total, or $42,000. And it's donations like that that will keep this locomotive moving forward. In the next coming months, you'll see some requests. We got some big ticket items coming up, like arch brick, jacketing, other items like that we'll be reaching out, looking for people to help us sponsor. Or if you're interested, reach out to the office. And then there's hundreds of little items left to finish on the locomotive, and each one of those, there's always a price tag, whether it's buying fasteners, whether it's buying valves, whatever it is, there always seems to be a cost associated. So every donation helps get those items accomplished. So we appreciate all of our donors that have helped us achieve this project. And one of the last things I'd like to talk about, why we do this, is because of the memories it makes. Anytime we are with the locomotive, people come, they talk about remember seeing it as a kid, going with their parents, being invited up into the cab and being able to ring the bell, getting a cab ride at one point, seeing it pull a circus train. We're not talking one or two people. All the time when we're interacting with the general public, we hear about the influence that 1385 has made and how it has brought families together and made really great memories. And one of those memories I want to share today is very personal within the museum. And it goes back to the gentleman I talked about, Tom O'Brien. And Tom O'Brien was very, very involved in this locomotive. And unfortunately, he was taken way too young from us. And at the time, his children, his two sons, were in their teens, but he had already made enough of an influence on them, and the organization had, that they stayed active. And today they are involved in our social media, board of directors, training, operations. His two sons are very involved with the museum. One of his two sons were up when we did the locomotive fire up in December, and we had planned to do fire up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. Do our social media, take it out, video some of the videos you've seen of compressors, things like that. Do our first official grade cross, and then blow out the cylinders. Well, like most projects, things don't ever quite happen as planned. And I think this one, there might have been some other divine intervention happening here. Because we, Wednesday night, ran into a mechanical issue that we weren't able to fire the locomotive on Thursday. So Thursday we worked on the locomotive and fired it on Friday instead, and moved it out of the engine house to do the social media posts we've shown, blow out the cylinders, do our testing. And that evening I received a text message from Mac O'Brien, Tom O'Brien's one son, and I would like to share that with you. And I think this really shares the passion and the love and why this piece of equipment, it's just a steam locomotive, has so much meaning to so many people. It says, "Me and my wife were toasting to my dad this evening because he died 26 years ago today. I'd like to think it's not a coincidence that the R1's whistle was on the wind today for the first time in 27 years. He would be proud of your hard work and sacrifice." And that was sent out to a large group of people that work on this locomotive. So when you look at that, I never had the privilege to even know Tom, but it struck very, very much in my heart on how much this piece of equipment means to others. And I just want to share as we wrap up 2025 that, remember that when you're out, you don't have to come and volunteer at the museum, but do something good for others. You never know what that little thing means to other people. You don't need to solve world hunger. You don't need to solve world peace. But one small kind gesture can make a huge difference in this world today. Thank you and have a wonderful 2026.